69. Offense. He was giving them the business. Go back there. Hold on.
This is the Five Arms and a Lucky Finn podcast.
Ooh, welcome to the Five Arms and the Lucky Finn podcast. I am your host, Brendan McCormick, here with my co-host, David Soloway. He is for the people. The people are for him. And David, we have breaking news.
We sure do.
UNC has parted ways with Hubert Davis. He is no longer the North Carolina head men's basketball coach. What's your first thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that it's a big move. It's by far the biggest opening in college basketball this offseason. You know, we talked about how there's not really that many big jobs out there. This one, in any cycle, would be one of the biggest. So it's going to be interesting to see who they take a look at. Obviously, when they hired Hubert as the successor to Roy, the hope was that it would work. And you know, I think there's mixed opinions on whether it worked. They did make a title game. This year could have gone differently if Caleb Wilson doesn't get hurt. But all in all, the level of the program has gone down since Roy retired.
Yeah.
And so the expectations are still there for them to be a national championship program. And they just haven't been there.
They haven't been there at all. It's ever since that run, it's fallen off dramatically, in my opinion. The way North Carolina is and has always been, you know, producing some of the best talent that talent wants to go there to play. And to be honest, besides Wilson and maybe a couple other players that I'm going blank on, that was the first year even. And then I was thinking of the guard that transferred to Arizona, Caleb Love, but he left. And so it's the expectations of North Carolina basketball that are causing this. And I think we talked about a little bit last episode on our recap of the first and second round. And you asked me basically if Hubert Davis should still have a job. And I was like, no, I don't think he should. And then today, obviously the news came out just now as we record at 8:36, 9:36 Eastern, that he is no longer with the team. And I believe it broke probably about 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. So we'll see who they get. Who is your main target do you think they'll go after?
It's hard because this has we talked about this on our last episode. This has always been a family-oriented program to where they're going to try to keep it in-house. But there's not any obvious in-house, answers to this question.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've seen a lot of discourse on Twitter about you got to make Brad Stevens say no. Okay, Indiana did that. Brad Stevens is going to say no. I promise you he's going to say no. It's just not happening.
He's an NBA guy. Come on now. He's not coming back to college.
And then I think they're going to be similar to what Kentucky did a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Where they called basically every big name coach in the game. So I think that North Carolina is probably going to call guys like Dan Hurley, Todd Golden, Tommy Lloyd.
I could see Hurley. I'm gonna say I could see Hurley.
I don't think so, just because he's been pretty staunch on not moving his wife out of the Northeast because they're a Northeast family.
Gotcha.
So I don't see that, but I think that's another guy that you make him say no. Because he's proven he's a top 3 coach in the game.
But they're going to throw whatever dollar figure at that he wants and make it as cushion as possible for him to come.
UConn is currently a better job.
Really?
6 natties in the past 26 years? Yeah. And a decent chance to win another one this year?
But definitely. The history of North Carolina and the players that have played there and the alumni, like, you don't think that's more historic than...
Oh, it's definitely more historic. It is currently a better job at UConn.
How many has North Carolina won the past 20 years? Is it, I want to say 3? Because they won 08, right?
05.
They've won
I think
several, is
I
what
think
I'm saying.
they won 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, I mean,
Let's see. I'm pulling it up really quick. We can get it
all right,
here. We
pull
can
it up.
get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're good.
3 in the past 20 years. 05, 09, 2017.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
But I think one to keep an eye on here, and I don't know if there's any connections or not, and I can pull this up really quick, is TJ Otzelberger.
Oh,
He's a guy who
that's kind of a dark horse.
has been an elite coach for the past few years at Iowa
Mhm.
State, and he's kind of flown under the radar in being that.
Yeah.
So if they take a swing at some of those other big names and don't get him, I could see TJ Otzelberger being the guy. Because Iowa State, great
Hmm.
program. You know, it has
Yeah.
been a good program prior to Fred Hoiberg, but also Fred Hoiberg kind of brought them up to the national stage while he was there. And it fell
Yeah.
off a little bit, and Otzelberger's got it back. So it's a good
Mhm.
program, but
Yeah.
that's a bigger step up than like trying to take a Hurley. It's hard when a coach is going to make a lateral move. It's a lot harder to get them to make that move than it is maybe an Iowa State to a UNC.
That is an excellent point. That is an excellent point. Another big coaching change, man, McDermott, Mr. McDermott, Greg McDermott has decided to retire from basketball. He has accomplished a lot in his career, David. I'm going to run it down real quick. It is, I mean, it is a lot. So he led the Blue Jays to 14 seasons of 20 plus wins and 12 NCAA tournament wins in 10 NCAA tournament trips, including one Elite Eight in 2022 and 2023, and 3 Sweet 16 appearances in 20, 21, 22, 23, and then 23 and 24. Creighton has 21 victories and 14 postseason trips overall under McDermott, taking 2 teams to the NIT quarterfinals and one of the CBI. I mean, who cares about that? But he also has produced 3 NBA first round picks. Obviously, his son, Doug McDermott, I was a Bulls fan. Still am a Bulls fan, but it's hard right now. But he played for them for a second. And Justin Patton and Baylor Shireman. And then 3 second round picks as well. Kyrie Thomas, Marcus Zagorowski, Ryan Kalprenner, which is still a pretty big name. He had a pretty good tournament last couple seasons. So
He's playing in the NBA too.
yep. And his son Doug was a 3-time first team All-American and National Player of the Year following the 2013-2014 season. And Doug McDermott, finished with 3,150 career points, ranking 5th in NCAA history of all time. And also in the Big East, he has 147 league victories, ranking 6th in that storied conference. And he is right behind Jim Boeheim, Jim Calhoun, Jay Wright, Jay Thompson, and Rick Pitino, all legendary coaches. As they move on, David, do you believe Creighton will continue to be they're not really a mid-major anymore because they're in the Big East, but to me, I still feel like they are a little bit, but they're not. But do you still feel like they'll be able to get some wins in the Big East with the coaching change?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they have a really good backing. Warren Buffett, big Omaha guy, Creighton
Yes.
in Omaha. So they've got plenty of financial support to keep this thing rolling.
Yeah.
The guy they hired, Alan Huss, was an assistant there previously. He actually played there previously, and then coached at High Point for 2 years before McDermott called him home and was like, "Hey, I'm going to retire soon. Let's
Yeah.
make you the coach in waiting, put you back on my bench." So that guy turned High Point into the team that we just saw in the tournament. Obviously not the
Yeah.
same exact team, but he took them from 14 and 17, I think, the year before he got there. And then in his 2 years,
Yes.
he went 56 and 15, which is it's hard to do that, especially in this era, you know.
Yeah.
Transfer portal had already been established, so I'm sure they were struggling keeping guys left and right. But
Yeah.
I think he's a good hire. And Creighton, like you said, they're not a mid major, but they're not like the top of the Big East.
Yeah.
I would say if you include St. John's now, they're probably like the fourth fourth best program in the Big East, and I think that's a good place to be.
Hmm.
Just be around the tournament every year, have a couple good years here and there,
Yeah.
and try to keep things rolling in the next
I,
era.
I would say the expectations too are just basically compete in the Big East, try to win a Big East title. If you're top 3, that's great. Make the NCAA tournament. Like, there's no high level expectations like in North Carolina, and that's why I think he personally has a great chance to flourish there because of that. I think sometimes having such big expectations actually hurts a program. Let's look at Indiana, for example, David, and our fan base. We lose it after 1 year saying our coach should be fired in DeVries when he had a whole new roster and all transfers. I had to go there.
No, you're not wrong. I think expectations are a big thing. It's the same thing like you just said with North Carolina. If it was not North Carolina, Hubert Davis would not be fired. He's had a
Yeah.
pretty successful 5-year run as head coach.
Yeah.
But expectations are higher. Creighton, while they had a lot of good years under McDermott, they were never
Yeah.
at the top of the sport. Outside of, a couple years ago, they were really good.
Yeah.
The 23-24 season, they went to the Sweet 16. That was coming off an Elite Eight the year prior. That was
Yeah.
the Kalkbrenner, the
He was a
Kalkbrenner
dog,
era.
man. I remember his highlights.
Yeah.
Like,
Great
dude.
defensive player. Dude
Yeah.
could step out and shoot some threes. But yeah, I mean, the expectations are obviously a big part of this.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
And he's going to get time too. He
Yeah.
played at Creighton. He coached under McDermott. They're going to give him time. He's one of their guys. So even
I
if
do want-
he doesn't figure it out right away, we could see Creighton be good here in the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm comparing this handoff to how, Bruce Pearl handed off his job, and it is 2 completely different ways of doing it. And I like
The most
way
different way.
I liked the way and loved the way McDermott did it the right way. And I felt like Bruce Pearl basically said, hire my son, I'm gone. And I'm just not about that. I had to touch on this because I just thought of it as soon as he basically the coach that was the future is sitting on the bench and not the head coach yet. I think that's the perfect situation after someone who's been there for several years or 10 plus years, who's basically been the face of the program. Like, that's the best way to do it. Not, yeah, I'm out. Here you go. Like, that's just not what you want to build a program on. And I think you're seeing the effects of that in Auburn right now.
Yeah, totally agree. And Pearl also retired right before the season. So he left Auburn no choice but to hire his son because they couldn't. It's not like he retired in March like this where go through a whole coaching search. No, I'm going to retire right before the season and you are going to hire my son.
It's the most Bruce Pearl thing ever to do. I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, Tony Bennett did it 2 years ago. So he retired right before the season, which I think is just a bad move in general.
Yeah, I think his situation was different though because I felt like he really struggled in the NIL era.
He did.
He
But
just
he
didn't know what to do.
He could have made that choice 5 months earlier, or through the commitment you've already made.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
that's definitely agree with that.
Let's talk. Virginia's in a good spot now, so they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, don't have to worry about that anymore at all. Yes, 3 seed did a lot. Did
won a game in the tournament. First year coach. Yes. Yeah, they're fine.
Great heights that they went to this season. They're fine. Yep, agree. Let's talk some Sweet 16 March Madness basketball, David. We talked all season that it would be probably these teams, as most of these teams early on, besides I would say Texas, were pretty much talked about being in the Sweet 16. Most of them.
Nebraska, Iowa, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, I said most of them. I would definitely
the ones in the 2 seeds for sure.
Yeah, the ones in the 2 seeds, but excited to talk some Sweet 16 hoops real quick, and let's dive into it. The first game that we have, David, is on March 26th on Thursday. That is in 2 days, not tomorrow. And on CBS in San Jose, California at 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central, we have 11 Texas versus number 2 Purdue. The spread is plus 6.5 on Texas's side. Total is sitting at 148.5. Ken Palm has Purdue at 8, Texas at 31. To me, this is the perfect storm for Purdue, but Texas is riding hot.
They are, but I totally agree with you that Purdue got a break here with
Yeah.
getting this draw in. A lot of it was, the 3 seed here was Gonzaga. Was Gonzaga
Yeah.
really worthy of a 3 seed? We say it every year. Gonzaga runs through the WCC. They play a couple tough non-conference games, and then here they are in the tournament, and they don't show up. But I agree with you. Texas getting hot at the right time. This is another one of those examples of a team coming from the first 4 and making it to the Sweet 16, which we've seen a lot since the first 4 became a thing about 10 years ago. They won 3 games in 5 days, and
Mhm.
I think a lot of that is momentum. You win that first game
Yeah.
in Dayton, and then you're just kind of flying high. They took advantage of a BYU team who we know was flawed, especially after Saunders went out with
Yeah.
ACL. And then, like I just talked about, Gonzaga, they took advantage of that as well, just because I think they were probably a little bit overseeded, and Texas had the momentum. So now, after having a few days off, and you're not just playing day after, or with a day in between each game, will that momentum cease to exist? I think yes.
Being an Indiana basketball fan and seeing Purdue have this game to go to the Elite Eight just makes my stomach a little sick. I never root for another team, David, but I would not be mad at all if Texas decides to play the game of their lives and lock down on defense. If Braden Smith turns the ball over 8 times and they just don't look like the normal Purdue selves and don't have, too many paint points from TKR. But I don't see it happening. I just see complete domination from Purdue in this one. I'm a little shocked, not shocked that it's at 6.5. I thought this might have been a little more, sitting at 8.5, 9, in my opinion. But because Texas has been so hot, I see why the bookmakers put it there because they can't give too much to Texas. The total to me sounds about right, 148.5. But the biggest thing is, can Texas defend? I mean, they're ranked 81st in defensive rating on KenPom. I mean, they're looking for their 12th win, also as double digit seed in the NCAA tournament. And I just think Purdue rolls. And another stat that I would like to say is that from their win against Miami, David, they were the first tournament team in tournament history to score 100 or more points, shoot 60% or better from the field, make 10 or more threes, have plus 20 or better rebound margin, all in the same game. That's domination.
Domination, absolute domination.
And I think it's going to get really ugly for the Longhorns. And this is where I'm unbiased, and I gotta take Purdue, as much as I would love Texas to win here.
Yeah,
No.
just a couple points on that. KenPom
Yeah.
has this total at 156. He has it 82 to 74. So I like that quite a bit. Just because
Yeah.
Purdue has been hot, Texas doesn't play the best defense. I actually think this is favoring a blowout for Purdue, which I
Yeah.
think we agree on that.
Yeah.
But Purdue has shot 58% from beyond the arc in
Yeah.
the first 2 games. Are we due for a little bit of a regression here in this game? I would say, as far as like water finds its level, law of
Yeah.
averages, yes. But
Yeah.
Texas's defense, not the
That's
best.
what I was about to say.
Yeah, is that going to be the issue here?
So, I mean, it really dangles on it. Can Texas play the defense that their life depends on it, is what I'm going to say. Because every possession has half to matter for them, or else Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, TKR, they're going to tear you apart, and it's going to be ugly.
Yeah, to be fair, in their 3 tournament games, they've allowed 66, 71, and 68. If they can do that to Purdue, if they can hold them right around 70,
Yeah.
I think we might have a ball game here. Because Purdue's defense
agree.
isn't great either. We've talked about that
No.
all year. Their defense is not great. And Texas is going to have the athletic advantage here.
Yeah.
but I think Purdue's just going to be able to score all over them.
That's what I think so too. Purdue's defensive rating on KenPom 2 is 33, which is low. It's the lowest out of all of the remaining high seeds. So another great year for Purdue basketball.
I actually want Purdue to win because I'm not
Really?
worried about them. I'm not worried about them winning the Natty anyway.
I'm slightly worried. I'm a little slightly worried.
I would rather have an Elite Eight matchup of Purdue, Arizona,
That's true.
and Arizona, Texas.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Miss me with that.
I'm with you on that. We head into the next game, David, on TBS/True TV in Houston, Texas, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. We have number 9 Iowa versus number 4 Nebraska. Spread was at 1.5 for Nebraska this morning. Total was at 133.5. Can the Cornhuskers continue their run in March Madness?
Of course. Why not? Of course. We talked about it. They hadn't been playing the best ball over the past couple months, but
Yeah.
they destroyed Troy, and then Vandy was hot. Vandy had just come off of the SEC tournament championship. They lost in the final there.
Yeah.
So they're playing some good ball at the right time.
Yeah,
And
no,
they split the season series with Iowa, so there's no like advantage. Hard to beat a good team 3 times in a season. Like, I think this is just going to be a good ball game between 2 Big Ten
Yeah.
teams, but I think Nebraska has the talent advantage at the end of the day.
these two teams don't like each other. They despise each other, David.
No,
Big
they don't.
rivals against each other. It makes me so happy of how many Midwest teams we have in this tournament and how good the Big Ten has been this season for basketball. It just gets me excited. So I'm excited to see the battle of the corn. Which corn is better?
I have a question for you. I actually saw this on Twitter the other day.
Okay.
Someone was trying to say that Indiana and Michigan are not in the Midwest. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we don't need to go down that. But they're definitely in the Midwest. I mean,
Yeah,
what are they,
yeah, exactly.
What do they consider Indiana, Michigan if it's not part of the Midwest?
Mid-East.
That's something my wife would say. Yeah, we're not going down this road. Completely disagree with that take. That is terrible. Now, Ohio's kind of the armpit of the Midwest. I agree with that, even though actually I like Columbus. So
I love Ohio. Yeah.
yeah, I don't have an issue with it, but people call it that, and I see why, because technically on the United States, it kind of looks like,
It does. A little bit.
a little
Yeah.
bit. So I could see why. But back to the data here. Nebraska's led by junior forward Price Sanfords. He's 17.9 points per game. Iowa's coming off that thriller versus Florida, and they're led by Bennett Sturts, the senior, 19.7 points per game. David, I'm a little concerned that Iowa's Super Bowl just happened. And so this is why I lean Nebraska, because when you come off such an emotional win, there are a lot of things that your body is just relaxed about. And I just think Nebraska coming off their thriller as well, I just feel like Nebraska is primed. And I just feel like, this Cornhusker team I've been back and forth on, and they shoot
You
threes.
have.
They're fun to watch, and I also like Iowa's story, McCollum, and what he's been able to build with Sturts, and Sturts has been kind of not too hot this tournament, so it's gonna be a really tight game. I lean Nebraska because of that win being so emotional, but I just feel like McCollum's going to have the boys ready. So I personally struggle with this one. My only angle is that it being such an emotional win that Nebraska finds a way to win it. Even though Iowa's very good on the free throw line and a very good shooting team, sometimes Nebraska struggles on the free throw line. So I think it's really going to come down to actually free throws and turnovers, as basic elementary as that is, because I believe this will be such a tight game that it's going to be whoever has the least amount of turnovers and whoever has the least amount of whoever allows the least amount of offensive rebounds. That's what I'm getting at. So
Yeah, I think that this spread is a major overreaction to Iowa beating a Florida team that
yeah,
was a number one seed based on merit, I think,
right.
but a Florida team that had just come off of a loss to Vanderbilt and maybe hadn't been looking as good in the past, their last 3 games, 4 games coming into the tournament. I think that win over Florida is making Iowa a bit overvalued here.
Mm,
I actually love Nebraska in this. I think
yeah,
Nebraska is just significantly more talented. McCollum's in his first year. We're at the end of the season, so I'm not
yeah,
trying to say like it's a new team. They're learning how to play with each other, but
yeah,
there's just not as much built up knowledge of playing with each other. And I think Nebraska's gonna be able to handle that in the bigger moments in this game. I think it'll be a good game throughout. I think we're gonna see uh, some great shooting performances. Sturts is gonna take over a bit, but I think
yeah.
Nebraska pulls away in the end.
I'm really looking forward to that game. I think that game will be a really great basketball game. It's going to be really just fundamental basketball motion offense. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, for all the great matchups we have of 1 versus 4,
Yeah.
1 versus 5, 2 versus 3, this 9 versus 4 matchup is a big one.
It's a big one. It is a big one, especially in the Midwest with 2 fan bases that don't like each other. Oh man. On to the next one though. We have on CBS in San Jose, California, David, 9:45 Eastern, 8:45 Central. Late game, man. Number 4 Arkansas plays number 1 Arizona. This game's gonna be good one too. Spreads plus 7.5 for Arkansas. Totals at 167.5. David, there is no way I'm going against Acuff and the Razorbacks.
Really?
No way. I'm riding with the boys.
You're going with Arkansas.
Yes, plus the 7.5.
Wow.
I gotta take the boys. I'm riding with them.
Why?
I just feel like Acuff being so great, he's gonna find a way. He's gonna find a way to win this game. Whether that's he has 15 assists and 10 points, whether he has 40 points and 5 assists. Acuff is just going to find a way, whatever his team needs to win the game. And I feel like he's going to rally these guys to pull off a great upset. This is the perfect letdown for Arizona. This is the perfect letdown for Arizona. This is why I took Arkansas in my bracket, because I knew this was going to happen. I'm born in Tucson, Arizona. I've tracked this team throughout the years, David. And how many times have I taken this team and they just break my heart and obliterate it? I'm going back to Jared Bayless and Chase Budinger years ago, and I don't care who they have. I don't care who they have. Koa Pete, whoever, don't matter to me. I'm taking Acuff. He's my guy. I got to roll with the guy.
I love it. I mean, I love your passion for Acuff.
I love him.
I'm as big of an Acuff guy as you'll find out there. The guy is a joy to watch. But this Arizona team is not the past Arizona teams. This Arizona team is one of the greatest college basketball teams of all time. How often do we see a power conference team go into mid-February undefeated? They dropped back-to-back games against Kansas and Texas Tech. Both games really, really close.
Yes.
And then they haven't lost since. That is a special team, not only to start that hot, but then lose back-to-back games in heartbreaking fashion, really.
Yeah.
And be able to reset from that. Arizona is, I think they should be the favorite to win it all right now. They're so balanced.
They are.
Any night, you just don't know who's going to score 15, 20 points. Obviously, Bradley's the guy. Burries is great.
Mm-hmm.
but they're just so balanced, the whole roster, and I love them in this game. Arkansas is great. They have the best player in this game, but they do not
Yeah.
have the depth and balance to match up with Arizona. I don't believe.
Yeah. It's, Arkansas's averaging 90.3 points per game and giving up 80 points per game, while Arizona's averaging 86.11 points per game. I do think this is going to be a lot of points as the total sits at 167.5. I think they both reach high 90s. I really do. I think there's going to be a lot of points. I really do. If Arkansas is going to win this, though, they have to slow the pace down. They have to limit the possessions that Arizona has. They have to figure out a way.
Arizona's not good
I
at
know.
slowing the pace down.
They have to figure out a way to limit the possessions Arizona has, because that's how you're going to beat them. That's how you're going to beat Arizona. You're not going to beat Arizona in a shootout. That's what Texas Tech did to win that game. They did not get in a shootout with Arizona because they dictated the pace of that game. And I think it's going to be very telling in I would say the first 5 minutes how many paint touch points that Arkansas will have. Because if Arkansas has a lot of paint touch points and finds a way through those seams of the Arizona defense, I think they have a great shot. I really do, because you can't just shoot threes. I know Acuff and several other guards on that team are great shooters. It's just you got to find other ways to attack this team because they are so great, like you said.
Yeah. Does Arizona's style of play, meaning that they don't shoot threes, give you even more pause here in that if Arkansas gets out to a big lead,
Yeah,
Arizona, it's going to be harder for Arizona to come back. Kind of like those Tony Bennett Virginia teams. They got down big to
Yeah.
UMBC, and it was just a style of play thing. Like they can't come back that quickly. Arizona plays up tempo; they just don't shoot threes. Is that a cause for concern here?
no, because I just think Lloyd knows when to use those timeouts, and he knows we're big momentum people, listeners and viewers. If you don't know, David and he has a sense of momentum, so he's very educated of when to use those timeouts. So I really don't. They do struggle. If you watch those games that they lost once they're behind of coming back, if it's by several possessions. So I do think if Arkansas is able to put pressure early on Arizona, and then in the last 10 minutes, if they're down, I would say 3 possessions. So, 6 to 9 points at that point. It's going to be very telling that it's going to be very hard for Arizona to come back in that situation.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's definitely a cause for concern. I think they're just so good at dictating how the game plays out.
Exactly.
That's hopefully not going to happen. And I hope this is a good game that comes down to the wire and they don't get blown out, even though Arkansas is very fun. Got to give it to you there. They are very fun to watch.
They're so fun. Acuff is averaging 23.3 points per game and 6.5 assists per game. Dude's just an animal. He's on another level. Oh, another level. Excited to watch him again. Excited to watch him. We have another matchup in Houston, Texas on TBS True TV, David, 10:05 p.m. Yep, Eastern, 9:05 Central, 3 Illinois versus number 2 Houston. You just mentioned it. Houston gets that home game. Kelvin Sampson's not losing in Houston. So I'm going to take the Houston Cougars. I do expect Illinois to come out swinging. I just think Houston in the end is going to pull away, and I expect Houston actually to win by 10 or 12 points on this one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I'm very conflicted on this one.
Really?
Because I think that Illinois has the type of team that can beat Houston.
I agree with that.
But Houston's got 2 things going for it. One, it is a home game, which,
you
it is what it is. It just happened that way. It's not played at their home, but it's in Houston.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that Houston is just so much more consistent. You know what you're going to get night in and
Yes.
night out from Houston, whereas Illinois has these wild swings of some nights they look like the greatest basketball team of all
Yeah.
time, and other nights they aren't bad, but they're just not that Final Four caliber team that you
No.
think you see other times with Illinois. So I like I like Houston here just based on I know what I'm getting with them. Uh, both of these teams have an NBA caliber guard, and
Yeah.
it's really going to come down to shooting. I think for Illinois, if they're shooting the lights out, which they can do, it's going to be hard for
Yeah.
Houston to keep up with them. Uh, but Houston's defense has been a lot better lately, and that's one of the things we talked about throughout the season. Is the defense didn't really look that great. Kind of looked like that was slipping from previous Houston teams, and then we
Yeah.
look up, it's March, and their defense is one of the best in the country.
It's just Houston year in, year out, David. On the offensive and defensive side of the ball, even this year, Houston's ranked top 10 on both offense and defense. They're ranked 10th on Ken Palm in offense and 4 on defense. And that's, I mean, you talk about what Indiana had in football, and it's very identical to that. I mean, I'm not comparing apples to apples, but I kind of am in some situations. But I just trust Calvin Sampson, man. I mean, he's reached his 7th straight Sweet 16 appearance, and he just has this thing going on where he can find the right type of players he wants, and he just wins, David. He just wins. And I just, you're right about this Illinois team being so wishy-washy that you just don't know what you're gonna get. And so this is why I'm on Houston. I don't see how Sampson loses this game. And the analytics and the betters are gonna tell you to take Illinois at plus 3.5, and I wouldn't, but that's just me. Especially it being a home game in Houston, I don't see a way I don't see a light where they could lose that game. And then talking about how well the Big Ten has been this season, David, the Big Ten has 7 wins by 20 plus points in this year's NCAA tournament. That's already the most by a single conference in a single NCAA tournament all time. Dominating.
Pretty crazy. Yeah.
Big Ten is dominating.
Yeah.
Is Big Ten now the ultimate sports conference in college sports?
Well, no. I mean, SEC is the reigning college basketball champion. So I say let's wait till the end of the season and then we can talk about that.
That's fair.
But football 3 in a row.
Yes. But there's some stars in that Illinois and Houston game. I mean, Wagler, Stojakovic, Kingston Flemings, and then Sharp. I mean, there's some dogs. Excited to see them on prime time. So
I will say I like Houston to win, but I like Illinois plus 3.5 on a backdoor cover. 3 at the buzzer to lose by 2.
I could see that. I could see some stuff like that happening. Always happens to me anyways. On Friday, March 27th on CBS in Washington, D.C., David, 7:10 Eastern, 6:10 Central, number 5 St. John's Hanks on number 1 Duke. Shire versus Pitino. What a matchup of coaches. Spreads at Duke minus 6.5, totals at 141.5. This is the game that I'm struggling with. This is the game I'm struggling with because they want you to take that Duke minus 6.5.
Of course they do.
They want you to take that.
They want you to think St. John's has been underperforming this year. They're coming off an emotional victory at the buzzer. Duke's been the most dominant team in the country. No, I reject that. St. John's plus 6.5. Give it to me.
That's where I'm at too. I gotta ride with the Johnnies. I just think Pitino has some magic right now, and I don't want to go against any type of magic this man has. But Duke is just a powerhouse, and so it's just it's going back and forth. as I talk about Duke, Boozer averages 22.4 points per game, shooting 39.8% from three. David Boozer dropped 19 against TCU, making it their fourth Sweet 16 in 5 years for the Dukies. Shire's got them cooking. This is another game. This is another game that is going to come down to the Johnnies and their defensive mentality. They have to be so locked in. Duke is such a good team offensively and defensively that you have to score when you get that ball. You have to have that offensive efficiency. We're looking at I'm talking on KenPom. Duke's ranked number 7 on offense and number 1 on defense on KenPom. When they get the ball, they have to score. And I just think if Duke is able to speed this game up, it's over for the Johnnies. Johnnies can't win in a shootout with Duke.
I agree, but I don't know that Duke is capable of playing in the shootout with St. John's, because I don't think that Duke can shoot out St. John's. St. John's defense is so good. They're so connected on the defensive end of the ball. And
top 10 on KenPom.
Zuby Ejiofor.
Gosh, I struggled with that name.
He will be known as the Cam Boozer stopper.
Oh!
He is going to shut him down. This guy's one of the best defensive players in the country. And I'm not saying Boozer hasn't gone up against other great defensive players. And he's still going to put up 16 and 12 because he does that every night, no matter what. But in the key moments, Ejiofor is going to shut him down.
We'll see. I don't know. Boozer is a different type of animal. But I do want to shout out Nolan Groves on Texas Tech, David. Came in off the bench last possession, stopped Boozer from scoring, and Texas Tech was able to pull off that upset in Madison Square Garden. What a stop. Shout out Nolan. That's my dude. Minnesota guy. Midwest connection right there. Just had to make that quick note. But yeah, they just had to be so locked in. I see Duke winning by 2. I think this game's going to be really close. And I want to take St. John's. I need the listeners and viewers to know. My heart wants the Johnnies. My brain says it's Duke.
I'm taking the Johnnies money line.
Oh! You heard it there first, listener viewers. They was taking the money line.
I think they were a bit underseeded and disrespected. Because if you look, they started the season 9-5. What do you think the record is right now?
Without cheating?
I don't care. You can cheat.
You said 9-5. I'll say I don't know how many games they played, but I'll say they have 7 losses.
Okay. You were close.
Yeah.
They are 30-6. So since they started 9-5, they're 21-1. That one loss was that game where they got blown out by UConn and scored 40 points and basically didn't score in the second half.
Yeah.
Not saying we can erase that, but 21-1 in their last 22 games. Just because you start the season slow, they didn't have any bad losses other than the loss to Providence. Otherwise, their losses were pretty respectable. They started the season slowly. They were preseason number 1, number 3. They were a top 5 team coming into the country. So everybody gave up on them.
Right.
Now is when we get back on them. This is our team. We have to come together as America to root for the Johnnies here.
Okay.
Because nobody wants to see Duke win.
No.
Go Johnnies.
Only Duke fans.
And Duke fans aren't real, so.
Oh, gee. Not going there, but okay. Not going down that tree.
Every Duke fan is also a Yankees fan, Cowboys fan, and Lakers fan. Wow, interesting how they got all the best teams.
So they got some fair weather fans, is what you're saying.
Just bandwagon, just straight up bandwagon.
I'd love to talk to a Duke fan now after you said this.
I don't know any,
Neither do I.
which is great.
On TBS/True TV in Chicago, Illinois at 7:35 Eastern, 6:35 Central. Number 4 Alabama takes on the number 1 Michigan Wolverines. The spread is Michigan minus 9.5. Totals sitting at 175.5. David, this Michigan team is they're just cooking people. They're just cooking people left and right. KenPom has their offense at 6, their defense at 2. Michigan won their first 2 tournament games by an average of 22 points. They're led by their senior forward, Yaxel Lindenberg, by averaging 14.7 points per game. But also, Alabama won its first 2 tournament games by an average of 22.5 points. And they couldn't miss a shot against Texas Tech. You know, I felt like Alabama, if they shot it at half court in that game, it was going in some reason or another. I do think if Alabama comes out and wins that first 5 minutes by a lot and Michigan somehow is always playing catch up, they could get in trouble for the Wolverines. But I got the Wolverines in this one, David, advancing. I got the Wolverines winning the whole thing. I'm not going to go against them now. I think it could get ugly.
I agree with you, and I really don't have that much to add on this game because I think Alabama's been a fine team all year.
I do
They are
too.
not at the same level as Michigan. I don't even think they're at the same level as the other 3, 4, 5 seeds that are playing this weekend, especially when you consider that their second best player is likely still out. I guess we don't know for sure yet. I know he was definitely out for the first weekend of games based on his arrest, but
Gotcha.
they just can't compete. This team is not built to play a game against Michigan and try to win. Their only hope is that they just shoot the lights out, which they could do, but they don't have Mark Sears anymore.
Yeah, and you know, Dave, there's another fun stat. Through its first two games in the 2026 NCAA tournament, Michigan has scored 196 points while shooting 61.2% from the field. The only other team to have at least 195 points and a 60% field goal percentage through 2 games in a single NCAA tournament, North Carolina in 88 and 08, 2008.
Did they win the title? Did they win the title those years?
Let's confirm, but I'm pretty sure they were probably there or won it.
No, they didn't.
Oh man. Well, there you go. I was wrong, folks.
But still a great stat.
Yeah,
it does obviously help that they played a 16 seed and then a mid-major who just doesn't have the same firepower as a high major team. But
yeah,
Michigan's one of the best teams in the country. They've proven it all year. Their only losses were Wisconsin was super hot from 3 and that lost to them. They lost to Duke. That game came right down to the wire. And then they lost to Purdue in the Big Ten Championship. Those are 3 incredibly respectable losses.
Yeah.
Whereas Alabama, like I said before, they've been a fine team all year. They were a top 4 SEC team, and there's just not much else you can say good about them.
I just don't think they're going to be able to defend Michigan. They rank 60th on KenPom on defensive rating, and that's my biggest point, is I just don't think they'll be able to contend against Wolverines on the defensive side of the ball. So.
And as we know from them needing to bring in a G League player midseason, they don't have a lot of front court depth.
Yeah.
And the 3-headed monster in the front court of Mara, Morez Johnson, and Lindenborg.
Yeah, Lindenborg.
That 3-headed monster is going to go off, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Dusty May's cooking with that NIL money and his coaching. He's just it's really almost infuriating.
We don't have to do this again.
We're not doing it, but I'm just saying it's infuriating as an Indiana basketball fan. So, yep, don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Do not want to go down that rabbit hole. Yep. Good for Dusty May. On to the next one. We have CBS. On CBS, we have in Washington, D.C., 9:45 Eastern, 8:45 Central. Number 3, Michigan State versus number 2, UConn. So, UConn, Michigan State. UConn on the spread is 1.5-point favorite. Total sits at 136.5. Michigan State on KenPom is 9 and UConn is 10 on KenPom. David, we have a matchup. We have Izzo versus Hurley. We're gonna have all the sidelines, cameras zooming in, zooming out. It's gonna be a lot of paid attention to those. It's hard to go against Hurley at this time of year. It's very hard.
Yeah, but you know the age-old saying.
I know.
If you list off the months, it's January, February, Izzo, April.
Yeah.
It's March, baby.
This is really hard for me to pick on this game. It's very hard. I would not touch this with my own money betting it, in my personal opinion.
I will.
I know you will. This game is so close. And Terrace Reed Jr., David, on UConn is the second player ever to have at least 30 points and 25 rebounds on 80% shooting in an NCAA tournament or NBA playoff game. That is crazy. He's the only second player to have that. So, man.
I mean, he was playing one of the shortest teams in D1 when he did that. So
I mean,
right.
the only other was Wilt Chamberlain in Game 7 in the 65 Eastern Division Finals, and against Bill Russell.
Everybody remembers that game. What a performance by Will.
And then also Alex Caravan, also known as Mr. UConn, has been off to a scorching hot start, David, in the tournament. Through 2 games, he is averaging 24.5 points per game, shooting 56% from the field and 47% from 3. Caravan is now 15-1 in March Madness. Woo! That's a crazy record.
And that one was to the eventual national champion as well.
I got to take Hurley here. I got to take Hurley. I can't. There's too many championships won. There's too many in the recent years. Won back-to-back. I can't go against them. I love Izzo and I love Fears. And what this Michigan State team has been able to do has been fun. I just think Hurley's not going to get out coached. That's my only angle on this game. That's it. I think this game is so close.
Yeah, I think this might be my most anticipated game of the weekend, just because I don't really have an opinion either way, because it's hard to really tell how this game is going to go. I think this Michigan State team is one of the least talented teams Izzo has had in a long time, and yet he has made them into one hell of a ball club.
Yeah.
But UConn's got the dudes. I think UConn's got the dudes advantage here. They just got so much more talent, I think, than Michigan State from top to bottom.
But it's
gonna
be fun to watch.
I'm gonna take Michigan State just out of I'd rather see them move on. UConn's won enough recently, but I'm just really looking forward to this one to see what happens.
I agree with you. Should be a heck of a matchup. Obviously, we're split on it. Next one on TBS True TV, David, in Chicago, Illinois, in the Midwest, 10:10 p.m. Eastern, 9:10 Central, 6 Tennessee versus number 2 Iowa State. Spread is Tennessee plus 4.5. Total sits at 138.5. Man. Tennessee has been one team that has taken me off my eye test, I will say. I doubted them a lot, had them losing in the first round to whatever 11 seed they played.
Miami, Ohio.
Yeah, but I mean, whether it was SMU or Miami, Ohio, I didn't know at that point. And obviously, we were wrong about the SMU ponies. Don't want to go there right now. Already embarrasses us. Self-viral.
Hold on. My take was still correct.
We were both on Miami.
I was just game too late on.
I know. I didn't want to bring it up. Oh yeah, I mean, our point was right. They got bombarded. The next
point was right.
Fine. Yeah,
exactly.
The point was exactly right. For this one, David, Tennessee averages 79.4 points per game and gives up 69.1 points per game. Jacoby Gillespie leads the Volunteers in scoring with 18.4 points per game. And then Iowa State averages 82.5 points per game and only gives up 65.3 points per game. And Momcilovic leads the Cyclones in scoring with 17 points per game and 3.2 rebounds. I just think defensively, Iowa State's going to shut down Tennessee's offense, and that's my angle. I just don't think Tennessee's going to be able to score enough points to get out in front and put pressure on Iowa State. And I just feel like Momcilovic and Jefferson probably being back. I'm assuming. Is that confirmed? Jefferson's probably back.
He's progressing is the last I saw.
Progressing, that's encouraging.
It does help that they played the very last game of the Sweet 16 late Friday night. So he's got all the time he needs to progress.
Yeah,
I would imagine he'll play.
Yeah, if he plays, this spread's gonna go up, I imagine, 2 or 3 points. If it's announced before, maybe 1.5 to 2 at least, because he's their best player on that team. But I just feel like with Momcilovic and everyone else in that Iowa State defense and on the team, I don't see how they drop this game to Tennessee.
I totally agree. Iowa State is my national champion pick, and I'm not going away from that now. I think they're going to roll in this game, Jefferson or no Jefferson. Tennessee is Illinois, but to the extreme, wherein they might play a really, really good game, but they're gonna counterbalance that with a really, really bad game. You just don't know what you're getting. And they have two great scorers in Ament and Gillespie.
Yep.
But Iowa State is just so much better as a team, much better defensively. They've got shooters. They've got the distributors in both Lipsey and Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
I think they run away with this one.
Yeah, I'm with you all the way on this one. Thank you for listening, watching. Appreciate your guys' support. Give us a 5-star review on Spotify. 5-star would mean a lot to us. Also, go to our YouTube and give us a subscribe. That would mean the world to us, as our latest interview with John Kaufman is now live on all platforms. Purdue Fort Wayne men's head basketball coach. He talks about the positives of NIL, basketball insights, and what it takes to build a mid-major program. It was awesome having him on. Go check that out. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
The Five Arms and a Lucky Fin podcast.